I shook her down.
Hello, Jean. I'm Yvonne Laval and I'm a volunteer at the Watch House, and I'm here with Emma Solomon, and today's date is the 8th of February 2024, and we're here to have a chat with you about your memories of Cullercoats, and this is for the Watch House Heritage Hub. Right, you were born, when were you born?
September 1950.
Okay, and you were called
Olsen.
Olsen. That sounds like a Scandinavian name.
Yes, my father was Norwegian.
Right, okay. So did he come over to the northeast coast?
Yes, and they married, it was strange, they married at Bransworth Castle for some reason or other, whether that was tiddly posh. But you know, at the time when, I think like now, housing was difficult and they lived in with people when they got married.
Yes, that's often
and
the case.
my dad went to see, and where they were lodging, they found they were breaking the tenancy agreement. This is very strange. So my mum was sent with me older sister to the workhouse in Berwick.
Oh, wow.
And that's where I was born.
Right. So when did you come to Cullercoats?
About 1951, I would say. My granda came and got me mother, out of the workhouse.
Right.
After she had me. So.
And where did you live in Cullercoats then?
7 brown buildings.
You lived in brown buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it's called that because of the people that owned it.
Right, okay, I'm not sure about that. So you mentioned something about Grandad Taylor. Who was that?
There was an old man. We lived at number 7. He might have lived at number 3, and that's what we called him, Grandad Taylor.
So everyone called
everybody.
him And Taylor is a name that.
The village name.
Village name.
Well known.
Yeah. So what school did he go to?
Mast Lane Infants.
Right. Okay.
It was very interesting. It was a new building where John Street Junior School wasn't a new building, but Mast Lane was.
Did you go to John Street?
No, my brothers did.
Right. Okay.
No, the council decided to pull the cottages down because they were unsanitary. Right. And we were moved to the Meadowell Estate, what is now the Meadowell Estate.
Right.
Broke my mother's heart.
Oh,
did
you like Cullercoats?
It took her 5 years to get back.
Right. She came back to Cullercoats?
Well, behind the Park Hotel.
Oh, right.
So it's still not in Cullercoats, but we were
nearer the coast. Yeah, lovely. You mentioned something about a children's home in Beverly Terrace. What do you recall from that?
Well, I recall as I went to school as an infant with children from the children's home, and I can recall going back to that house on Beverly Terrace with the children and playing with them. Right. But I don't think it lasted very long.
And what happened to the home?
I think the locals were frightened that it would devalue their property. Right. So it was closed.
Right, it was closed down. Do you know who ran that?
I'm not sure. No. But in my mind, somewhere in my memory it was nuns, but that could just be a false memory.
Right, okay, so you're not really sure. You talked about the seafront. You mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned about kiosks selling seafood.
Seafood, all from the watchtower all the way down the bank, which when I was little it seemed a big bank. But like the Punch and Judy stalls, or like that. Yes. That's what they looked like.
Right.
And so the women would be selling little cornets of shrimps, willocks, all the way down the bank.
That's a lovely memory.
It is.
And also you mentioned about a wooden pier or something down there. Start again. Was it a temporary thing?
It was always temporary. They put it out and they brought it back in in the summer season. That's what I was trying to say. In the season, they would get boats out and hire the boats or row people around the bay. Right. And so they'd put it.
That was?
No, I can't.
No. It wouldn't be much.
No, well. It might have seemed a fortune in them days.
Did you spend much time on the beach?
All the time I could. It was much better than the back lane where we lived.
And what's your memory of the Watch House?
not being able to see in it.
Right.
So it was really the most fascinating, because you couldn't see in it, and if you knocked on the door you got chased.
All right. So what were they doing in there?
I've no idea. It was They could
It was a
mystery, which made it more fascinating. I do believe there was a pool table in there, but that's what you find out in later life. But us children thought there was something magical going on in there.
Yeah.
So there was the watchtower, and then there was really horrible, smelly urinals next to it.
Next
Horrible.
Yeah.
So
Not there now.
no,
Yeah.
gone.
And what about the fountain? That sounds fascinating.
Then at the bottom of Mast Lane, and a bit to the right, as you're looking at the sea, yes, there was a nice fountain where you could get a drink, and they used to have brass cups attached on chains, so you could use them for a drink.
So it was spring water from
yes.
somewhere.
It was lovely. But there's lots of things you remember, like, so you go up from the South Pier, that what they've now got, children's playground. They used to hold their boats up there.
Yeah, it was at the boat field.
Uh-huh.
I've heard about.
They used, so that always seems strange when you're looking at it. Lovely now, but it was the boat field.
Mm-hmm.
So bad weather or when they needed mending, the boats went up there.
Yeah.
What about the hut, the green hut? That used to be on the south side of the beach.
Is that still there?
No.
No. And what was that for?
Changing rooms for swimmers.
Wow. Right.
For, it was a club.
Right.
Poseidon, I think it was called Poseidon Club. But there was a green hut.
So you didn't have to pay for a tent?
I just think it was a club. Like, you know, like the Watchtower had the billiard room.
Yeah.
I think that was some kind of club, but it has been pulled down quite a while.
Right, okay, lovely. And you mentioned the Quakers as well.
I think the Quakers had a lot to do to build up Cullercoats long before my time.
Yeah.
But there was a Quaker burial site in Cullercoats. I thought it was John Street. I didn't think it was where the Primitive Methodist Church is. I thought somewhere in my mind thought it was John Street.
Was there still a Quaker community when you were growing
up? No,
Methodist. So this is before you.
Oh yes, definitely. Just what looked into for looking for somebody was looking for a street in the village. So I was looking at old maps, and then you research and you get the street that we're looking for is falling into the sea.
So where was that then?
It was beside the Watchtower. There was houses there, and they've gone.
So is that what you think was called Gardner Terrace?
Yes.
Was it in front of the watch house or at the side?
No, at the side.
Right.
So you know where
carrying on from the
Cliff House.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
In between Cliff House and the Watchtower, I should imagine.
Right. Oh, what did you do on a weekend?
Well, every hour God sent, we were on the beach, on the rocks, picking willocks, taking them home to my mum. She'd boil them, would sit with a pin and eat them. And I think now, but they were lovely.
I think the same, because I used to do that as well, and I can't believe that I did.
I think we just lived in that sort of few streets. So I can remember getting a ride on the coalman's horse. Now, so we came out of our Brown's buildings. There was a little alleyway from the front street. There was the pub. Then there was like waste ground, whether that had been created in the war or what. And that's where the coalman had his horse. And it was it must have been a back lane at one time, and it ran to Simpson Street.
Right.
So you cut that way up there, and I was frightened of it.
Right.
The back lane, the intersection, but that's where the coalman had his horse, and it's also where they used to put boats.
Right.
On that wasteland.
Is that where the Queen's Head is?
Opposite.
Opposite the Queen's Head.
It's now like sheltered housing, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. There was another pub there though, wasn't there?
There was the ship, the Newcastle.
Was it the Northumberland Arms or the Newcastle? Newcastle Arms.
So you could go playing your guitar to the Queen's one night, the ship the next night, the Newcastle, and the Bay Hotel on a Sunday evening.
So that was
folk
4
club. Mhm.
public houses
Yes.
in a small area, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Quite a small area.
But you were faithful to one public house, which was strange. How the more mature people of the community were faithful. So if you drunk in the Queen's, you drunk. That's where you went.
Right.
But we used to. It was just to play our guitars, folk music, and we used to go from one to the other.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
brilliant. So did your mum and dad go to the pubs? Did they have a
No,
favourite?
oh good
No,
grief,
they didn't.
no, definitely not.
No. So what did they do for entertainment?
I've no idea because I think they worked in the stayed home.
Right.
I can remember getting the first television when we were about 10. But I don't think the social animals like that going to the pub.
Right.
Church,
Right. So what church did they go to?
the Primitive Methodists.
Right. And was the family around you? You know how communities in the 50s and 60s all kind of stayed
Yes.
together in the one area?
No, because my grandparents lived in North Shields.
Right.
So, but yes, they were there, and my uncles used to come down. So
It was just your,
just my mum lived in Cullercoats.
right, your mum and then no one else?
No,
No. So what about friends? Did you have many friends?
oh loads, man. like the children, children make friends.
Really easily.
Just I can remember there was a deaf couple who had a deaf little boy, and I think they were all the family was badly treated because they didn't understand their disability like they would now.
Yeah.
And I think an accident befell the little boy,
Right.
a very sad one. That was in the 50s.
Right. Okay. Did you have parties? Was there any street celebrations? Anything that you can remember?
No.
Like that?
No.
And what
But we
about-
had the day off school for the Queen coming to visit after she was crowned,
Yes.
and we all stood there waving. We're given little flags, and we all stood lined the route waving little flags, and our car never slowed down. Shot round the corner and away. I remember that. No, I can't remember street parties.
No.
And on Front Street there was the fishermen's cottages, and then there was it was a shop, but it had an apartment above it,
Right.
and my friend Sandra lived in there. I think she was called Gascoigne. I can't remember, but that's what comes to us. And we used to go there, and that was huge compared to our little fisherman's cottage. That big house.
Big apartment.
Uh-huh.
So what about food? What can you remember your diet? What was your diet like in them days?
My mother was a fabulous cook, that's all I can say. She really could. But when she'd left school, she'd worked at the Park Hotel. So she'd picked up traits there.
Yeah.
So no, I think we ate very well. Ordinary, basic. What would my mother would say Irish food. So pies and pasties and mince and dumplings and soup, stews.
Just good wholesome food.
Grandad Taylor used to give us crabs. Used to put them on strings, and we used to take them up. They were our pets.
Were they alive? The crabs?
Yes.
Right.
So you had to cook them alive. So you take them up the back lane, and that's what you'd do. Kill our pets.
Do you remember anything about the fishwives at all? Can you remember?
I can remember them dressing up for occasions, being on the seafront,
Right.
but more like occasions to collect charity money in. I think it had long gone before we got there.
Right. Okay.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. That industry.
Putting a creel on their back, and
Yeah.
I think that had passed.
Right. That had stopped there. Was there a fresh fish shop in Cullercoats?
Do you know what? I can only remember the butchers.
Right.
As you come, you know where the Rocket Garage is,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, and you're going into Cullercoats that way. I can't remember the man's name, but he was called John, and he had a limp, and he had a butcher's shop. He left there and he went to work for the House of Quality, Walkers and North Shields. And along Huddleston Street was John Whitley. Now that was really exciting. He used to cook his fish and chips with coke underneath his fryers,
Okay.
and you could sit in there and have fish and chips, and it was exciting. and on Huddleston Street there was this shop. You could buy everything in it, one of those shops. And I can't remember the lady's name, but she had Cupid bow lips. She always had a lipstick on. What else can you remember? Going to Archibald's for a gas mantle. Our house was lit with gas or candles. So opposite where you came out of our back lane, across the road, was this shop called Archibald's.
Right.
And that's where you got the 3p mantle for the gas. You walked into his shop, right, and you were in the middle, and he had the stock on, so that you were in the middle, the counter was round you, and the stock was round that, and he walked around and got you what you wanted.
Can I ask what a gas mantle is?
It's
What do you buy, like a product or?
Yes, it's a fine mesh, half a bowl, I think.
Your lights were
and you fitted it.
Gas,
yes.
And you put this
it was
round thing on, like
mesh
over the top of it, and that would be to spread the light out.
Yes. Yeah, they had that, or a candle.
Yeah. My grandmother had gas.
But when I think about what we had in the house, as you went in the front door, our cooker was at the front door.
Right.
She had one of those cupboards. That was our kitchen. This cupboard thing that you pull down the thing, and that was our kitchen.
Yes.
And a table and chairs, and at the fireplace was 2 chairs, and then there was a curtain, and the beds were behind the curtain. That's how we lived. And outside, and I can remember getting smacked for this, but the toilets, one toilet for 6 houses, for 6 cottages.
Wow.
I used to wash my dollies in the toilet, man, and I used to clip us. But it was water. There was no water in the cottages. There was only that gas mantle. Everything had a pipe.
Right.
Everything had to be taken in. The bath was hung up outside. No, there was no water in them.
Wow. Where did your dad work? What did he do?
Worked at the boneyard in Walker. My stepfather. But that's not there now either. That was interesting.
And what about your mum? She worked at the Park Hotel.
When she was young, she worked at the Park Hotel, but when she had us little, she used to clean for people.
Right.
That was, I suppose, it fitted in between school and things like that.
Yeah. Did she make anything? Did she handmade?
Oh yes, we're all crafty. She knitted and had to.
Yeah.
You had to repair and mend, and that's what I can remember. Sitting stitching my dad's jeans, mending the holes in them. Everything. Everything.
Yeah.
I look at well, she knitted socks. I look at dresses now and think my mother's had a rag bag out and extended that. Because that's what they look like, don't they? So they put a bit on the end and make it last longer, or take the sleeves back and knit a bit more on. And
lovely. Oh, nice memories though.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about your feelings about Cullercoats? Have you still got that passion for the place?
I have, but it's for how I knew it. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
yes, if you're feeling low or you want a bit comfort, that's what you want, but it's not that, it's not there. It's like Maynard's is a cafe now. It was a lovely sweetie shop.
Yeah.
The Bay Hotel, and we used to go upstairs, and on a Sunday evening it was our entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, it's people's houses now.
Yeah.
The ship in the Newcastle's long gone.
Yeah.
I can remember in the Queen's Head, the old men used to go and play dominoes in the snug. Well, it's an eatery now. You couldn't get the dominoes out now, could you? The community's broken up.
Right.
Right. But in my mind, I put on silly songs because I'm a Cullercoats fishwife. Oh yes.
Quickly go back to those memories.
Oh yes. I don't think they'll leave you.
No.
Playing in the caves.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've blocked them up because I thought they went on for miles.
There was supposed to be a route from the caves into Cliff House, apparently.
Well, for the smugglers, I should imagine.
Yeah.
But they used to go up Mast Lane, I'm sure.
Right.
The YMCA on Mast Lane. I can remember my friend Jean's mum bought a house on Mast Lane to move them up market, out the village. And later in life, Jean's saying she couldn't afford it. They struggled all the time to be out of the village, but it would give them better opportunities. Strange, isn't it?
It is, certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much, Jean. It's been lovely talking to you and hearing you.
It's nice going over it.
Yeah, it is. It's
Mm-hmm.
lovely. It's very therapeutic, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very
Strange.
much. It's been lovely.
When you think about the Bruntons and the Lyles and the
All
Taylors.
those familiar names. Yeah, it's lovely. Still connected.
Oh,
Cullercoats.
oh yes.
Okay, thank you.
He's away, all away. I shook her all about the town.